Today on Smackey's Garage, we're going to be talking about the best resources for classic Mustang restorations. I know a lot of you here are watching this channel because you like classic Mustangs and you most likely have one of your own. So I'm going to talk to you what I think are the best resources and what I've used while I was doing the restoration of my car. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 best resources you should use when you're doing a restoration on your car. Now, these are the resources that I used when I was doing my car, so let me know down in the comments if I missed anything, what some other thoughts are on this topic. But let's go ahead, let's talk about these 5 resources. Now, one of the best resources you should purchase when restoring a classic Mustang is you should buy the OEM Service Manuals. Now, right now, they're still pretty easy to come by if you're looking around on eBay or you're going to some swap meets. You will find them. Now, these service manuals will walk you pretty much piece by piece through almost the entire car. Now the service manuals look like this, and it's essentially a series of 5 different volumes, and then you can get the 1969 car service specification as well. Now this will give you a lot of the different breakouts of fluid capacities, as well as different torque specifications and what you need to work on your car. But we're going to talk about the first 5 volumes first. So volume 1 is the chassis, volume 2 is engine, volume 3 is electrical, volume 4 is body, and then volume 5 is the pre-delivery maintenance and lubrication. Now in volume 1, you'll find information like how does the shuttle valve in the brake system work. You'll find information on the power steering system in case you want to take that apart. And I'll also be using the section on the rear end gears when I replace them in this car this winter. Now volume 2 is on the engine, and this is how to inspect items such as the bearings. It tells you how to replace them, and it also tells you what to look for, what are the specifications of them to see is it within spec or has it worn out too much. Now that's one of the important manuals that I used when I built the engine that was in this car. It essentially walks you through step by step of what the right dimensions are and how to put the engine back together. Now volume 3 is also important. It's the electrical section of the manual. Now why this is important is because when you have a 50-plus-year-old car, the wires are going to be weathered, they're going to be worn. You know, there's going to be work that you have to do unless the car was kept in a climate controlled area. But chances are if you're doing a restoration, it wasn't and it needs work. So this is incredibly important to go through. Now I don't think it's the best for the diagrams, this shop manual. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's really good when you're looking at how to wire the ignition and how everything works together, and especially when you're trying to check and troubleshoot issues. Now, volume 4 is the body of the car. In this, you're going to find everything from where the moldings are going to go on the external of the body, to where the weather stripping needs to go on the car, all the way to how to put together the doors. So you can go in there and you can see, has your car been hit at all, by taking different measurements off of different points in the car to see if everything is still square with each other. So with that, you can see, you know, these cars are 50+ years old now, so there's a high likelihood that they got in an accident at some point. Volume 5 is the pre-delivery maintenance and lubrication manual. Now this one is interesting because it shows you exactly what needs to be checked before the car is delivered to you. So it's not really a necessary item to have in the restoration of the car, but it's interesting to look at. So if you're looking for a full set of these, it essentially comes with these 5 books, as well as the 1969 car service specifications. Now, the second resource I use more than anything is Mustang Forums online. Now, these resources are really great to go there and to be able to ask questions, and that's one of the biggest benefits there. You can spend a lot of time reading through the different forums, whether you're looking at doing a resto mod or you're looking at doing a concourse restoration. People there are extremely helpful and they'll help you get exactly what you need. Now on these forums, it's been really helpful to find information like how far do my exhaust tips need to stick out from the back of the rear valence. So it's items like that. You know, these are people that are willing to go look at their cars, take measurements for you, and help you solve your problems so that you can have a great car as well. Now, one of the tips for working with these forums, 2 of the ones that I frequent are Vintage Mustang Forum as well as the Concourse Mustang Forum. You know, search features aren't that great. So I like to actually use Google search and use the site locator in it it'll actually go into the specific site and let search for you rather than using the forum search. And I found this to work a lot better and a lot easier. Now the third resource that I'd really recommend is good wiring diagrams. You're going to spend a lot of time troubleshooting wiring in this car. I spent a lot of time troubleshooting wiring in my car. You know, it's old. If you're doing a restoration on a car, it's most likely been cut into at some point. Now, if you find one that hasn't been cut into, that's great, but it's very unlikely. Now, for the wiring diagrams, you can find these in large format on paper, but I prefer to use the ones online. You know, there are a lot of places that'll actually make you pay to use the wiring diagrams, but if you search around enough, you will find good wiring diagrams. And one of the best things that I found is if you can find the colored wiring diagrams, or the people who have taken the time to actually colorize the wiring diagrams, it makes things so much easier. If you can find one for your car, you can print it out, and then you can hang it on the wall. You can use it anytime you want. Now, this is helpful because by understanding the colors, you can see if anyone's actually changed anything, and it'll tell you, like, do you need to go back and do some work? Do you need to fix someone else's work? And it'll also help you to understand where the wiring is supposed to go. Now, the fourth resource we're going to talk about is the HP Books Mustang Restoration Handbook. Now, I've been using this handbook. It's a great guide on a few different things. There's a lot of good information that tells you what you need to look out for when you're purchasing your first vintage Mustang, but also it's a restoration handbook, so it tells you how to rework different systems in the car. Whether you're looking at, you need to get an HVAC system back working again, or you want to do the power steering system, all of it is in this book. Now, this book is great to read and just understand how everything works and the steps to take to fix everything. Now, while the service manual is pretty much, hey, here's all the parts, this manual here has, like, here are the common issues, here's how to fix them. This is another book that I would definitely put on my to-buy list. Now, within this book, it tells you common modifications that people make, which is interesting. So in it, you can see, like, one of the most common ones that you want to watch out for is, are people drilling holes in the inner fenders to get to the grease points on the upper control arms? Now, the last resource, number 5, that I'm going to call out is actually talking to people at car shows and looking at different cars at the car shows. Now, all the car shows that I've been to, you know, it's really great to go up to people, talk to them about their cars. You know, as you're doing your restoration, you can't figure out what needs to go where. Find people that own 69 Mustangs, ask them if you could take some specific pictures of different areas of their cars and use that for the build on your own car. Now, I've done that in a few different locations when I was looking at the headlight buckets, trying to figure out how the headlight buckets actually attach to the front radiator support, as well as look at how the quarter window attachments work, as well as the little levers to hold them in place. That's something that I haven't finished up yet on my car, but by going to the different shows and talking to different people that have 69 and 70 Mustangs, taking pictures of the certain points of their cars to find how everything goes together, it's been really helpful. Now, working within the Classic Mustang community is really great. Talking to people, being able to get some of their knowledge and then understand how they put together their cars will help you in putting together your car. All right, so those are my top 5 resources that I've used when I was restoring my classic Mustang. I hope they're helpful to you if you're jumping on this journey as well. Thanks for tuning in this week on Smackey's Garage. Next week, we're gonna have some more car work to do.